BRICS as an idea was first conceived in 2001 by Goldman Sachs. 2006 was when the first meeting of the BRICS foreign ministers took place on the sidelines of the UNGA in New York. And the first BRICS Leaders Summit was held in Russia in the year 2009.
If you look at the post-World War II order, all the major international initiatives since 1945 have come from the US. They have been led by the US. BRICS is the first major non-US international initiative. So BRICS is seen as a platform that can help shape the new world order.
This week, the 16th BRICS Summit was held in Kazan, Russia, and the outcomes show how this group is emerging as a strong alternative to the G7. Such is the importance of BRICS that leaders from 36 countries and also the UN Secretary General attended the BRICS meeting. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE are the new BRICS members. The visit also showed how India can engage with Russia, Iran and China on its own terms with its own national interest in mind. Prime Minister Modi held extensive talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and both leaders reviewed the full range of bilateral ties, including trade, energy, defense and connectivity. Prime Minister Modi conveyed to Putin that dialogue and diplomacy was the way to achieve a resolution of the conflict with Ukraine and said that India stands ready to extend all help in bringing peace to the region. It is important to note that Prime Minister Modi is one of the few world leaders to have had bilateral meetings with both Ukrainian President Zelensky and Russian President Putin in the last few months. Economic cooperation figured prominently in discussions, with the two sides exploring cooperation in the financial sector. President Putin also promised assistance with supply of fertilizers and coal from Russia to India. Prime Minister Modi had a one-on-one meeting with the President of Iran, a country which is very much a part of the Middle East tensions at the moment. Narendra Modi expressed concern about the tense situation in West Asia and emphasized on the need for dialogue and diplomacy to bring tensions down. Both leaders discussed ways to ensure the Chabahar connectivity project progresses despite the war in the Middle East. Both leaders felt that the Chabahar port and the international north-south transport corridor are not only important for India and Iran, but also for advancing the reconstruction and development of Afghanistan. India also managed to find an opening to reduce tensions with China. 4 years after the violent clashes in Galwan, eastern Ladakh, which led to 50,000 troops being deployed on either side of the Indo-China border, both Prime Minister Modi and President Xi held their first formal bilateral meeting. Both leaders said that stable relations between India and China will have a positive impact on global peace and prosperity. Prime Minister Modi said that restoration of peace and tranquility at the border will lead to normalization of bilateral ties, which were badly hit after the clashes in eastern Ladakh in 2020. Following the agreement between India and China, troops on both sides of the border have begun disengaging. The Indian Army Chief has said the objective is to ensure status quo as existed in April 2020 is achieved at the border. India has also been engaging constructively with BRICS leaders to expand the grouping. At a time when the threat of sanctions has impacted trade settlements and payments via SWIFT, India and BRICS nations are actively discussing alternate payment mechanisms and trade settlement in local currencies. International affairs experts say the BRICS Summit has showed how India is in the best geopolitical position today. India has emerged as the leader of the global south with strong relations with all G7 nations despite deteriorating ties with Canada. India is the only country which has friendly ties with US, Europe, Israel, Russia, Ukraine and Iran at the same time, and is also stabilizing its relationship with China at a time when US and EU are intensifying trade wars with China.
It is no exaggeration to say that India is enjoying what in golf terms is called a sweet spot in the geopolitical dynamics today. India's valid claim to be the bridge between East and West and between North and South stands very clearly showcased in recent international conferences, climaxing in BRICS Summit. We can say that there was a certain degree of burden we were carrying since 2020 as our relations with China went under serious stress. And now there is a beginning in terms of reducing that stress as well. So in short, India is in a good position